Hey there, YouTube. Another Taurus High Point production coming at you. My name's Ray Shepard. Gonna again go over myths and misconceptions associated with black powder. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna be up in arms because, well, they've had a cousin or nephew or aunt or an uncle or Josephine from up the road. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to show me the paper. There's a paper trail. Okay. Now my first is this, you don't seat the ball all the way and the barrel blows up in your face. Whether it's self-inflicted or not. And you say your injuries were so bad you had to go to the hospital. The hospital's going to do two things: treat you and call the police. The police have to fill out reports on the explosives, on the explosion. But when I, Google that and try to look for the city or wherever you say it happened at, there's nothing there. And once the police get it, then it's got to go to the newspaper, and they'll print a little story somewhere. Oops. When you're dealing with this black powder stuff, please put the shovel down. You don't have to dig your hole any deeper. Let's move on off that dreaded pipe bomb that resulted in catastrophic injury, and you had to go to the hospital, but the police have no report on it, and the hospital has no report. Never mind. So we're going to move right on into chain fire. Now, people are going to hate me. There is a 0.01% of true chain fire. The other 99.999% is, user error. People hate me when I say that. And then they ask why. For chain fire to actually happen, you have to not check the chambers of your revolver and make sure that the outer diameter and the inner diameter are the same. Now you have to use the wrong size ball. Okay. Or you have to use an ill cap. And what I call ill cap is a cap that doesn't fit, or a cap you've got a little too much H48 into, and when it ignites it actually kicks over to one of the other chambers to ignite them. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I am saying that most of it is user error. Now that I have addressed that elephant in the room, let's go on with this flask grenade. Flash over. Now this is the one that pees me off the most. Is everybody swears it happens, and when you ask for the paper trail, ooh, did they get offended. I had one guy online to the point where he was using all caps to try to make me believe him. And supposedly he was at a club shoot, and he was pouring powder straight from his flask, because he had done it 100,000 times before. Only this time, it backtracked through all the mess in his barrel, ignited the powder that was coming out of the powder dispenser on the end of the flask, followed through the metal flap on the flask and into the actual flask itself, and exploded in his hand. Why, he lost several fingers, had half his face ripped off, and had to go to the emergency room. They called right away. What town did you say this happened in? What club? Google's my friend. There's no mention of it here in the paper or in the hospital. And then you start screaming at me, calling me an idiot. Trying to make me feel lowlier than low. Well, that ain't gonna work for you. You might intimidate some little college kid or some high school kid with it, but it ain't gonna work on me. I'm gonna call you a liar straight to your face and walk away. And you'll be standing there jumping up and down, stomping your feet like that little idiot from the "Where's me gold?" Because what people don't know, and what I know, is it don't matter what jurisdiction you're in, what city you're in. If you show up at a hospital with either explosive wounds or gunshot wounds, the hospital does two things. Very first off, they call a cop. Secondly, they treat you. The cops show up and they have to take a report. They have to investigate how the accident truly happened. They're not just going to take your word for it. They have to investigate it. They have to leave a paper trail. This way you don't look like a homegrown terrorist. Oops. And how long had the police been doing this? Well, you remember the 1960 Gun Act? And you say this happened in 1972. Oops. Oh well. So, as it revolves around black powder, revolvers, rifles, there's a lot of stuff you gotta hack through to get to the truth. Chain fire is a mystical creature, true chain fire. You do have user error. Missing setting your ball one time in your rifle while you're talking with your buddies doesn't constitute a pipe bomb. And flash grenade, why, that's more mystical than unicorns. But people are gonna stand on a stack of Bibles. It happened. As far as a barrel blowing up in your face, it can happen. it's more likely to happen on a double charge or a barrel obstruction where you've dumped the barrel in mud or something at least 6 or 8 inches deep. Uh, mm. Now everybody says I've seen it happen on YouTube. CVA puts up a video. CVA puts up a video of what they want you to see. Point blank. They know exactly what they have to do to get those barrels to explode, and they do it. One of them was smokeless powder. They actually admit to that. They make a mistake. Let's say you load smokeless instead of your normal black powder. What could happen? It's not something I want to swing a mop at. Ooh. But as far as it all goes, when you get into black powder and you start asking about this stuff, and you're being fed that it happens and stuff like that, you might want to pull one of the other guys that are off to the side ignoring all that mess and ask him what he thinks. This has been a Taurus High Point production. I choose, therefore I am responsible.